Followers, if you're just tuning in, you are watching a live that has now ended. Going to talk about the 12 inches of snow we're expected to get this weekend. So that's the main headline here. Also dangerously cold temperatures. So if you are, again, just joining us now, the live is over, but you can rewatch it. But again, 12 inches is the National Weather Service's projected amount of snow, as you can see here on your screen. But we'll kind of let people filter in here over the next few minutes as we continue and kind of go into depth about when this snow is going to arrive, and is it going to be snowing the whole time this weekend? Where's it going to snow the most? Things like that. So again, a big winter storm has its eyes set on the area, and we are going to dive into it here over the next few minutes. So kind of let people stream in here, but again, if you are tuning in, you can watch this entire live back as needed. But of course, this is recorded right around 3:15, so these numbers are going to change. They're going to fluctuate as the storm gets closer to the area. But for right now, as you can see on the screen, the National Weather Service's latest forecast models have us getting around 12 inches. I think the official range is between about 8 and 15, so it's a big spread, but there are going to be heavier bands of snow that determine the exact amounts in different places. So along and south of I-44, we think is going to be the area of greatest probabilities for snowfall, but a general consensus roughly around 12 inches expected for Joplin. Now, if you ask me personally, we are expected to get a foot last February, and we only got about half of that. So my expectations are very tempered because I'm a big snow lover. I was disappointed by those numbers that we saw last year. So more people joining on now. So again, winter storm warning is in effect, or it's going to start at 9 tonight and last through about 6 Sunday. So we're going to have about 45 hours of a winter storm warning. We don't think the snow will really start to pick up. At least we don't think it'll start to accumulate until well after midnight tonight. So early Saturday morning. There's going to be 2 bands of snow. We'll go into an estimated model run here in just a moment. But for now, we do think that 12 inches of snow is the general National Weather Service consensus here. I think that's a little high personally. I think if we get 8 or 10 in Joplin, that would be a good snowfall. I mean, it's going to be good snowfall either way, but I think 8 to 10 seems to be the sweet spot for Joplin. But again, National Weather Service will go with their data. They're saying 12 as of this moment. But again, that could change as we get closer to the event actually starting. So winter storm warning in effect goes into effect at 9 tonight. We'll kind of roll through some of this older data here, but everybody's covered by this. We've also got a cold weather advisory. We could see wind chills -10 to even -20 in some of the early morning hours as we progress through the weekends. And anybody that's outside, any pet that you've got outside, they need to be brought inside immediately. So I think that that's something that's very important over the next 48, 72 hours, because the snow is not going to go anywhere. The snow is going to pack up, it's going to accumulate, it's going to make it feel colder than it actually is outside because of how cold the ground is with all that snow. But again, this is the morning data, 8 to 13 inches. They've kind of upgraded that to 8 to 14, 8 to 15 inches in some parts of the area. And like I said, there's going to be 2 rounds tonight through Sunday afternoon. I kind of want to go through that here in just a second to show you when this timing is. This is a NAM model that just ran about an hour and a half, 2 hours ago. So you can see the precipitation starts to pick up. This is around 1 a.m. So we may start to see some of that precipitation hit the ground at 1 a.m. You might start to see it actually show up on your radar but not hit the ground. But there's a lot of dry air that this snow's got to overcome over the next 12 hours or so. But once it does start snowing enough to where it overcomes the wet bulb and is able to reach the ground, we will start to see accumulation. So you can see, at least in the Joplin metro and our KZRG listening area, we do not need to worry about ice. Ice will be well towards the south, southeastern Oklahoma, the southern half of Arkansas, and into Louisiana, Mississippi, and parts of Texas. So this is an all snow event for Joplin and most of the KZRG listening area. But as you can see, there could be a good first band for us, a few inches of snow, that first band for our Saturday morning hours, and maybe a little bit of a lull Saturday afternoon. The NAM model here still has moisture going on, but we do think there will be some sort of break midday Saturday into the evening hours. But then you'll see the second wave really pack a punch the later half of our Saturday night into the Sunday morning hours and that first half of our Sunday. So it finally will get out of here, though, probably by about 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock on Sunday. And just how many inches of snow is that going to be? Well, right around 12 for Joplin, but 12 is a good number. I mean, that's a foot of snow. That would, I always think back to big snowfalls when I was in high school, 2011, the February 2011 snow, we got 18 inches. That was crazy. Last year we were expected 12, only got 6. So, it's a little disappointing when you only get half of what they project, but we're going to kind of look at some of the more scientific part of this storm. You can see this is the lower level water vapor across the entire northern hemisphere, at least the continental United States. You can see this big bowling ball looking thing off this coast here, off the Baja coast. That's the low pressure, bringing in all this moisture, bringing in all this lift. Of course, the Arctic air from Canada and the Arctic slamming down to meet that, and you get all this precipitation that will eventually explode over the area here in the next 48 hours or so. So if you're just tuning in, taking a look at the major winter storm that we are projected to see this weekend, 6.5 would be a good number. I mean, I'd be happy with 6.5, honestly, but I think we could push to 8, 10, 12 inches of snow. Again, the National Weather Service here has places like Monette and Anderson getting 14. I just don't see how anybody could travel in that. Then the Highway Patrol has already said, hey, if you don't have to be out on the roads, even Saturday into Sunday, maybe even Monday. It just depends on, I know MoDOT, KDOT, ODOT, RDOT, all the Department of Transportations in the area are out trying to pre-treat the roads and get everything ready before the storm starts. But it's going to be so cold that some of their icing techniques, their equipment, the things they use don't even work because it's so cold and the ground's so cold. So there's going to be a lot of problems on the roads. I would expect a lot of schools to be closed on Monday. Of course, the snow hasn't even started yet. It could be a letdown. We could get less than this, but I do expect with these cold temperatures to stick around that a lot of schools end up closed on Monday. I want to kind of go through some of these other slides here. Again, low end 5 inches, the high end 16 inches. So that's a huge spread. It's hard to predict snowfall. A lot of people are like, how much are we going to get? It's really hard to predict, but you got a 40% chance of seeing greater than 12 inches. So that's pretty significant and would definitely cripple travel here in the area for quite some time. But we do think if there's going to be any sleet, it'll be far southern counties of Missouri, extreme northwest Arkansas. I think this is, again, an all snow event for us, but we really do believe 9 p.m. to midnight tonight is going to be the start of the event. It may not accumulate until after midnight, and it may take a while for it to accumulate, but once it does start to accumulate, it will accumulate here in the 4 states. So again, a first rounds tomorrow morning, Saturday morning, a little bit of a lull or lighter snow midday Saturday in the afternoon, and then tomorrow evening into Sunday morning, really get a heavy band of snow. So let's just take a look at some of these other model guidances here. The latest from the national blend of models. You can see the bullseye there is central and eastern Oklahoma, northwestern Arkansas, and portions of our area. That's got us at 12 inches of snow. Portions of Oklahoma getting 14, 15. There's some 16 inches in there as well. But yes, I think that starting at 9, if that's the onset of this precipitation, it might not be coming down at that time, but if you see it on the radar, it means it's snowing in the upper atmospheres where the radar picks it up. It just may not be hitting the ground until we get over all that dry air, and once you can get the atmosphere a little bit more moist and ready for the snow to fall. So I think the snow will start accumulating after midnight, but there's not going to be any travel impacts until probably closer to sunrise tomorrow morning. So again, MoDOT, KDOT, they say they are pre-treating the roads. They're going to have everybody available. The Highway Patrol, though, they've got troopers out to help in case you do get stranded. But if they are getting a lot of calls, it could take a while. So make sure you got blankets. Charge up your stuff. I mean, if you got people that are designated chargers for you, charge your phone, charge your power banks, charge your computers and things like that. Just or tell your husband to charge it for you. That'd also be a good idea. I think that is a key plan to having everything ready in case. I don't think there's going to be, honestly, many power outages because it's not ice that we're talking about. It would take a lot of snow to cause a lot of power outages, widespread ones at least, but just have your things charged up just in case there is some sorts of power outage. But if you're just tuning in, it's coming up on 3:30 here in the KZRG Storm Center, expecting 12 inches of snow should start tomorrow morning and be done by early Sunday afternoon. Again, if we get 12 inches of snow, I'd be surprised. I'm thinking 8 to 10 for Joplin. I think that's the sweet spot for us here. But first major winter storm of the season. We had that snow, a couple months ago. It wasn't quite an inch, but this is a big one and could be one that we remember for a while. So we'll have the latest data. Going to get a new round of data from the National Weather Service to come in here shortly. But for now, though, we will leave you with the beautiful Food for Less parking lot. Of course, this is going to be filled with snow over the weekend. You will be able to watch this accumulate on the KZRG Eye in the Sky. Just Google KZRG Eye in the Sky. The low-effort husbands, yeah, they need to, honestly, it's bare minimum. Just charge your wife's devices. It's pretty simple. But the KZRG Eye in the Sky, you'll be able to watch this in real time as the Food for Less parking lot gets covered in snow, and then 30-second range line there as well. But thank you to Millwood Company Roofing and Construction making this video possible. Their number's right there on the screen. If you've got any needs for your aging roof, they are the guys and the gals to call over there at Millwood Company Roofing and Construction. All right, this live video we are going to end, but of course, KZRG Facebook page, a great way to stay up to date. Zimmer Storm Center app, a great way to stay up to date with the latest and ever-changing weather conditions. So, but for now, hope you have a great rest of your Friday. Hope you have a great weekend. Stay warm, stay safe. Again, if you've got to travel, take it slow, give yourself extra time, and just make sure you're prepared with extra blankets and drinks and things like that in the car in case you do get stranded and it takes law enforcement longer to get out to you. Anyway, I'm rambling, so have a great weekend. We will talk to you soon. I'm Ty Albright reporting from the KZRG 24 hours.